Hello and welcome back to a new video of Adrian's Film Collectibles. Well, for this video I've got two really interesting items that I would like to show off, and one is connected to Lauren Hardy and the other is on Charlie Chaplin. So two historical and original old pieces that's really fun and really exciting to add to the collection. But the first one is of this one to do with Lauren Hardy, which is Film Fun, which was from 1920 to 1962. So basically, what it is, because I have several of the original comics that I have shown in previous videos of these very famous British Film Fun comics, and I've just been flipping through this book. This is obviously first edition 1985, so this is a lovely book on the history of the comics of Film Fun, which included Lauren Hardy and many of the old stars during that period, and also before their time as well, as a comedy pair. But what makes this interesting is that I have this, which is an original drawing or sketch by Terry Wakefield, Terence Wakefield. So his name was Terence Wakefield, or Terry Wakefield, and he's obviously dedicated this "Good luck, Colin, best wishes, Terry Wakefield," and it's a lovely sketch that he'd drawn. I'm not sure exactly the year when he did this, but this is obviously a piece of his original artwork. So basically, Terry Wakefield, his father, George William Wakefield, was an artist for Film Fun comics books. So he was born in London, 13th of November 1887. He died 12th of May 1942, UK. So he drew famous personalities. Uh, for Film Fun. So basically, he did like Lauren Hardy, Ben Turpin, Jackie Coogan, Joey Brown, and many others, as well as Lauren Hardy. On the front page of the comics, that they had a lot of Lauren Hardy because they stood out, that they looked sort of vibrant and very attractive on the front covers of the old comics. So on several of mine, there's quite a few with Lauren Hardy on the front pages. Um, so with George, his father, he continued to draw comics until around the end of 1942. He was working on Abbott Costello comics when he had a stroke and died at 54. So, his son, which is this one, Terence Wakefield, his work was continued. And then, after returning from military service during World War II, around 1946, he started to draw, and mainly like the Lauren Hardy comic strips, as well as others as well. But I think it was mainly Lauren Hardy was the main sort of speciality. So again, with Terence, he was also born in London, the 30th of June 1911, died 26th of September 1989, UK. So he was his father's full-time assistant on his comics. So Terence Wakefield was a gunner in the Royal Artillery anti-aircraft during World War II, and then 1946 took over the Film Fun Lauren Hardy strip. Continued to draw the comical Jew until 1957. Retired from comics in 1959, and spent his final working years as a driver for the West West Middlesex Hospital. He would draw for the hospital magazine. Retired to Twickenham, Surrey, and died there in 1989. So he was 78. So this is a really lovely bit of old history on the connection to the Film Fun comics. Of course, it was his father was the original artist, but this is his son that took over his work from like 1946 onwards. So it's a lovely original drawing there, and a really lovely find to go with the Film Fun comic books, which is also all the history all in here to do with Film Fun, which ran from 1920 to 1962. So it's a nice find, a nice addition to add to the collection, and it's a really lovely, clear example of his artwork. And then just on from that, I have a book. So this is, if I can pronounce his name right, this is a book. This one here, this is original, and this is a first edition. So this is a second impression, printed July 1952, and this is his first book, Wolf Makotes, if I've pronounced his name right. But he was a screenwriter, and also for film, and also novels, and you can see his picture just on the back there. So he was born the 7th of November 1924. He died the 20th of May 1998, and he was 73 years old. And I have read through this whole book, and this has also been co-adapted by the author into a popular 1954 comedy movie as well. But what's interesting about it, that it's signed by Wolf Makotes to Charlie Chaplin, which is just up there at the top there. So he signed this as a book, a gift that was given to Charlie Chaplin. So really, you could say this book was owned by Charlie Chaplin. So it's a really rare and unusual find that I was able to come across, and I was able to search a lot of history behind this. So this is signed by Wolf Makotes as a presentation inscription to Charlie Chaplin. So just going a bit of history during this time, because this is 1952 first edition. So at this time, so Chaplin left the US for the UK with his family in September 1952 to promote his new film Limelight, premiere in London the 16th of October 1952. And then I think it was a little bit later, it was premiered in the States. The day after he left, or probably could have been several days, he discovered that the government revoked his re-entry permit due to his political view and allegations that he was a communist sympathizer. He went back around sort of like 20 or so years later, not until in his early 80s, when he was presented with a Academy Award in 1972. So that's when he moved away to Switzerland in between those long years. So Wolf Makotes found a way directly or indirectly to present this book to Chaplin while he was in London for a few months before Chaplin went to live in Switzerland. So this is after when he was no longer allowed back to the States for the remaining 25 years or so of his life. So with the author, this was his debut novel, and it was a success. So also Makotes originally worked as an antique dealer, specialised in porcelain, pottery, like Portland. The Portland vase, Make Me an Offer, was based on his experience as a dealer, which is what this book is about. So it's like a comedy, which again I've read this book, and it's a good little story. It's got lots of pictures in, as you can see just here on this page. So you have all these like drawn pictures, which I absolutely love in the old books. Yeah, so it's a great find. So it's original signed piece by the author, and as for given to Charlie Chaplin. So this is a nice book that was owned by the Chaplin or Chaplin family. And just to top that off, there's this picture that I've got of Charlie Chaplin and Una O'Neill, his last wife. So this is around the time when they left the States, and when he was no longer allowed back. So this would have been taken in London during around that period. So it's a nice photo to go with it, and it just finishes it off really nicely. So there it is. There's two original vintage items there on this one, which was absolutely great, on Laurel and Hardy, and also on the Make Me an Offer book, which is signed by the author, dedicated or signed to Charles Chaplin, which is really lovely piece to add to the collection. So a little bit of history there. I have got some more really interesting items that I want to show off, and I just need to go through them all and give them a bit of a study, so I know a bit more information on them. So thanks for watching this video, everyone, and look out for the next one soon. Bye for now.